gavel for some reason, so they get to gavel.
Okay, it's time to call this meeting to order. We have an election of officers, president and vice president. I nominate you for the president.
Excuse me? No, I'm not even here. Don't even do that.
I know, I'm sorry.
Okay, and the secretary.
And the secretary.
Oh.
And who takes the minutes and types the minutes for this meetings?
That's up to the town, but I would guess the clerk treasurer.
You know, you want to know one more thing to do.
You hesitated
Does
a
Rhonda
little.
do it in Cicero?
Yes.
She does. Okay, so what did you just vote on?
Nothing yet.
Okay.
Nothing yet. We've got a,
And is Todd coming today?
I thought so.
Oh, he's not here, is he?
Mm-mm.
You gonna call him or you want me to?
I was just gonna text him.
Okay.
Do you want to proceed with electing officers, or do you want to wait for Todd? We need somebody.
I think Todd would make a great president.
We won't know the school. Should I not say this yet?
Yeah, we won't know the school's selection until the 17th.
They meet the 17th, so the 18th we'll know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we do have one vacancy for a presidential appointment. And I know Rich has been reaching out to some people to try to fill that.
I know that,
Yeah, I don't. She didn't give me a definite answer, but I told her to be here tonight if she's gonna do it. So I threw you in there too. Amanda would really love to have you.
Thanks.
did you get a reply or anything?
Not yet.
I hope he knew. I think he did.
Well, if we want to hold off on the election,
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that until,
then I would suggest we elect Rich as the president pro tem to run the meeting.
Yes.
okay.
Do I make a motion for that?
Yes.
What's it called? Pro what?
Pro tem?
Thank you. I'll nominate Rich as the president pro tem elect to run the meeting tonight.
I'll second it.
All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor, nay. Motion carries. Okay, then we'll skip the election of officers for now and move into new business. That would put us with Mr. Pittman presenting the information.
Hello? 5:30. Okay, bye. He's on his way. Todd's on his way.
Okay. Do you think it was later?
6:30.
Oh. Well, Mom thought the meeting was at 7 for later, so I had to tell her.
6 to 7.
Yeah, she's coming. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you've got the door unlocked now.
Yeah. We don't know who's coming. Oh, so we're having a meeting before our meeting?
You're good. I'll just
So-
hang out.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks.
Okay.
Sure. First meeting of the Redevelopment Commission. We're about to publish updated handbooks, so I'll make sure that you guys get a copy of that. May I talk just generally about redevelopments and?
Sure.
Okay. The Redevelopment Commission's purpose is to kind of be the eyes and ears of opportunities for redevelopment, economic development for the town. They usually usually sort of, you know, they require a little bit of time to mature, and a lot of towns think, well, you know, do we really even want to do this? But I remember when Cicero started its redevelopment commission, you may remember that too, or that may have been in John's.
Yeah, it was
era.
before me.
Yeah. And the way that it matured, it's finally, it's at this point in time, a very important tool for the town. They have a lot of revenues that they raise from their TIF revenues, so they're well positioned, and you guys can be also. There are many towns much smaller than you who have successful redevelopment commission programs. Let's talk about what a TIF district is. I mean, that's obviously, that's one of the principal terms that you'll become more and more familiar with, and jump in here as you.
Sure.
Suppose that you have an area in town that has a building on it, but we'll call that building A. And that building is worth $500,000 in assessed value. What happens? That company will receive 2 bills each year for property taxes, May and November, whatever. When the county officials get those payments, they distribute that money among a pie chart of units. The town will get a piece of the money. The school corporation will share. The township, the library district, what am I leaving out?
The county?
Yeah, the county. So it is kind of like a pie chart. So let's suppose that you've got that area that's never been a part of any TIF district, obviously. Now, let's suppose that you create a redevelopment commission and you create that area, which is broader than just where that company is. And then after a couple of years, a new building gets built. We'll call it Company B. Okay, so Company B is brand new. Now let's talk about what happens going forward. When Company A pays its taxes, those taxes get divided up among the pie chart recipients as if there was never a TIF district. But Company B, when they pay their taxes, that money doesn't get distributed among the taxing units. That money gets distributed to the redevelopment commission. Now, the vast majority of the taxes they pay will come to you guys. Now, not all of it, because they get taxed on the land. That's new. That's not new, right? So the taxes that are paid for the land continue to flow to the pie chart recipients. But the rest of it goes to this commission to be used for economic and development and redevelopment purposes. And so the most classic use of that money is public infrastructure necessary to serve the area where the TIF district is located. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so what you're saying is, what the property looks like now that's gonna be distributed normally
Yes.
between the schools, the county, and the town and everything. But whatever develops on top of it, which makes it worth more, that's going into the redevelopment
It
commission.
is,
Okay.
yes, it is.
So the schools and the towns and the county are still getting some money,
Oh, yeah, they're getting everything they,
used to get,
right.
yes, okay,
They're for.
which makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can see it doesn't, if the reason, a lot of times what happens is that the company comes to the redevelopment commission and says, look, I need utilities, or I need a road, and I want your help doing that, and they probably wouldn't even come if you didn't help us with an incentive. So the fact that they probably wouldn't come without the incentives means that there wouldn't be any taxes going to anybody if they don't come, right? So that's usually the answer to the question that schools sometimes ask, well, you're knocking me out of this additional revenues. Well, you're not if there weren't going to be any revenues without the TIF program. So that's kind of my nutshell. And I think there are lots of little exceptions that go into this, but I think I've given you the skeleton that is accurate. One of the things that you need to know right at the start is that in a typical TIF district, only the real property gets paid, and not personal property. And also usually not, generally the rule is residential property cannot collect TIF. It's as if it's not even in the TIF district, the residential. Now, in about 4 or 5 years ago, and Aaron will remember this well, the legislature passed statutes that said that under certain circumstances, you are able to create a redevelopment commission by following the procedures. You can create a TIF district that does capture TIF from residential property. That's a nice addition to the law, and that's what you're doing here. You're creating not just a TIF district, but a residential TIF district. Now, residential property generally is, there's a 1% cap on the amount that residences can pay. So, it doesn't generate as much money as it would be if you were, dealing with commercial property. I think it would be useful, if I may, to talk a little bit about the tax caps. We hear that, term bandied about constantly. But I think it's helpful if you guys have a good understanding of that. And here's how I would explain what the tax caps are. Okay, so and this was an initiative of Mitch Daniels. The idea is that all taxable property in Indiana gets divided into 3 different groups. One of those groups is called 1% property. Another group is 2% property, and then the third category is 3% property. What does that mean that they're in that class? First of all, let's talk about which properties go into which percentage, okay? 1% property is property that is residential. The residential property, which is homestead property. What's that mean? A homestead is if you own a house and you live in that particular house. That's a homestead. The homestead property is 1% property. If you own a second house, but you don't live in that one, that is treated as rental property. Whether you're renting or not, it's not treated the same as homestead property. 2%, then the 2% category consists of residential property, rental property, non-homestead homes, and long-term care property and farm property. Then the third category, the 3% property, is commercial property. Now, what do these percentages mean? They mean 1% means that if you're getting a tax bill for the 1% property, i.e. the homestead property, the amount of your tax bill cannot be more than 1% of the value, the taxable value. And that's meant to give a good break to homeowners, right? The idea is let's protect the homeowners the most. Let's put a lower ceiling on how much they can be taxed for it. The 2% property is not as favorably treated as 1, because for that 2% category property, the amount of your bill for that can't exceed 2% of the taxable value. The 3% property, commercial, there's less sympathy for that property, and so their cap is 3%. So they could be taxed a lot more than a homestead property, okay? Now, in practice, the way this works is that the way it used to work before this tax cap law came about, which was in like 2010, the different taxing units would figure their rate independently of each other, and they still do it independently of each other. But then once they decided their tax rates, they just got added up, and that was your tax bill. Okay, if the rate ended up being 5%, then that's what you had to pay. Now, the tax cap feature, it gets described as a credit, but it isn't a credit. What it is that once the various taxing units decide how much they're going to put in for as far as rates go, those still get added up together. But if you get a bill for your homestead that would have under the old system caused you to, say, on a $100,000 value house, if in the past they would have intended to, to charge you 1.5%, where they would have sent you a bill for $1,500. Under the new system, what happens is, if your tax bill would have been $1,500, they lop off the extra $500, and you still have to pay it. Same thing with like commercial property. If the tax bill would have been, 3.5%, they lop off everything on top of the 3%. And so what that does is it creates a potential shortfall of these taxing units who sort of put in for more money that they're not getting now, because nobody makes up the shortfall. It just means that Jennifer gets less money than she wanted to budget. So that's kind of the tax cap concept. Does that generally make sense to people? Okay, so that's how that works.
And just so you know, there's a different meeting they have to participate in at 6.
Okay, I'll hurry up.
Yeah.
Let's talk about those were the two things I wanted to kind of help educate you folks on. We passed, or you have before you a timetable of the steps that will be followed to create a residential TIF district. The actions consist of actions by the Redevelopment Commission, the Plan Commission, and the Town Council. Those are the three bodies that have to have approvals. In some cases, public hearings. So that's all laid out in this timetable. And Aaron and I will monitor this and prepare you guys and the other public bodies to stay with this timetable. Now, the next Redevelopment Commission meeting on this timetable is, let's see, today's October 7th.
The 28th, I think.
The 28th, and I put onto the timetable 6:30 for that meeting. But let's decide what time is good for.
And you had 5:30 for a public meeting.
Oh yeah, I do, right, there too, so, you're right. So we need you to stop, meet at 5:30 starting, and you'd have 2 meetings.
We advertised 6:30, right?
Is that what was in the notice?
For the October 28th, 5:30 meeting, I think that should have said
It was 5:30? Okay.
Yeah, I think.
So then when should the Plan Commission come in?
After the Redevelopment Commission.
So are you saying 6:30 for our Plan Commission? Is an hour
7,
long enough?
maybe 7.
An hour and a half later?
Well, you've got 2 meetings at the Redevelopment Commission.
Okay, that's right. 5:30 and 6:30.
6:30, and then the Plan Commission they have their regular meeting at
At
7.
7?
Yeah, at 7 o'clock on October 28th. So those are the upcoming scheduled meetings. Between Aaron and me, we will get all the documents prepared.
7, okay.
And I'm happy to come to the meeting.
I will be out of the office on the
Okay,
28th.
oh, that's right, you told me.
Yeah, I'm
So
out that whole week.
I will be able to come, and so those are the kickoff of actions that I wanted to discuss with you guys.
Well, and items 2 and 3 I put on the agenda for tonight are not things that we need to do tonight. They should be for the meeting on the 20th.
Okay.
That was my error. So tonight we were really meeting to verify that the 28th worked for everybody,
Right.
and then allow Tom to go over the schedule and answer some questions if we had any. And then we do need to, now that Mr. Urick's here, if we want to elect officers. That way
Just
we-
tell him we already elected him president.
You're president,
You were nominated.
and you can handle that. That's what we love about you. He's not complaining, so I think I nominate Todd Urick for president of the Redevelopment.
I'll second.
All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those not in favor, nay. You get a vote on this too now.
And then we still need a vice president and a secretary.
That's a lot of work.
The vice president is,
I don't feel like it is a lot of
Yeah,
work. That we're not hardly gonna meet.
even the president, other than running the meetings, the president doesn't have many obligations.
We're not even gonna have money for a year or two. Cause it's in arrear.
right.
The chief duty of the vice president is to fill in if the president's absent. And then the secretary has to occasionally sign documents and run the meeting if the president and vice president are. That's really it.
The clerk treasurer can't be the secretary, can she?
Not because you're not a member of the board.
But what you are by statute is the treasurer of this
Thanks.
body. So you'll get, the money goes to your,
Make you feel
Yes.
good. I think you make it great.
I'll do the vice president.
All right. Nominate Doug to
I'll
be the
second
vice
it.
president. All right, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those not in favor, nay. That motion carries.
Looks like I'm the secretary.
Not Rich?
No. I
Rich
nom-
doesn't wanna be the secretary?
I nominate Amanda.
I'll second.
Wait a minute, when's the baby due?
Right, exactly.
Well, we'll make things happen. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Rich nominated.
Okay.
Those in favor, nay. That motion carries.
All right, so we've got everything done. We will meet on the 28th at 5:30 for a public hearing, followed by the actual meeting on the 6:30.
Yeah, Todd, do you have an extra one of these, or I can give you?
time, I have a slew.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
7th
it
is
was
planning
Todd.
commission.
And, yeah, please,
He's now the president.
We can talk. Yeah, so, okay.
Any other questions for Tom while he's here?
I think he done a pretty good job explaining.
He is our expert on TIF and redevelopment.
Yes.
All right, well, if that's it, there's nothing else for tonight's meeting.
This meeting is officially adjourned.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tom.